Alright, I just finished building this PC. Let me just power it on now. Alright, hold up. I think I forgot to turn on the switch. Let me retry that, yeah? Today's video is in partnership with Intel. Alright, now that we have that out of the way, let's go show you what this PC is all about. Look, it's no secret that gaming PCs have always been a bit of an expensive hobby, granted. However, until recent years, it was always something that the average working man could attain, or at least that was the perception of it. However, everything from GPU shortages to crazy high memory prices and just everything in between has led a lot of potential people who want to make their own gaming rig believe that it's just no longer affordable or viable. However, I'm here to prove to you that's not the case, and my inspiration are friends at Intel. They recently released the Arrow Lake refresh chips, the 200S Plus series chips, and they're living proof that you can charge less and give more at the same time, which is exactly why I'm partnering with Intel on this video to show you exactly how you can build a crazy powerful gaming rig without breaking all your life savings. Now, I'm not going to promise you guys a miracle or some ultra cheap build. I'm going to show you what a $2,000 build can get you, what kind of performance you can expect in both productivity and gaming alike. And I'm really excited for this one because there is a lot of potential to be had and hopefully a lot of hope for you guys that you can still build a great gaming machine. Let's talk about our star players that are gonna make this epic PC build. So at the center of it all, we do have Intel's Core Ultra 5 250K Plus chip. This thing is better in every way than its predecessor, the 245K. It has more E-cores, higher boost speeds, and just generally speaking performs way better. Now, of course, to spice things up, we'll also feature the 270K Plus, which is the more powerful Core Ultra 7 variant, and this one also is improved compared to 265K in a similar capacity. For our motherboard, I opted to go with the MSI Z890 Gaming Plus Wi-Fi. Look, there's a lot of things to like about this one. It is an extremely feature-dense motherboard, and it has a price tag of $210 US, while not the absolute cheapest. It is on the lower side if you look at the average pricing for the typical LGA 1851 motherboard. And since it does have the latest features, including PCI 5.0, Wi-Fi 7, Thunderbolt 4, and 5G LAN connectivity, this is a motherboard that's going to be good for a long time and provides you a ton of future-proof value. There's no sugarcoating it, memory prices are sky high right now. However, we also want to hit that sweet spot of performance with the 200S Plus series chips, so we opted to go with the Trident Z5 DDR5 RGB 32GB memory kit. It has a fast transfer speed of 7200 megatransfers per second, which is ideally the sweet spot for these Arrow Lake refresh chips, but at the same time, you're going to be paying about $550 for this chip. I know it's on the higher side, but that's just memory pricing as a whole. Hopefully by the time you are watching this video, those prices have come down. When it comes to storage, I am a die-hard Kingston fan, which is all the more reason I asked them to send over their Fury Renegade M.2 drive. It has a retail price of $330 US approximately. However, it provides a good mix of reliability, performance, and speed. On top of that, it has a built-in heatsink for better thermal management, and these drives virtually never fail me. Given the high prices we are paying for storage right now, I'd rather have a reliable drive than get something, super cheap and end up paying the price literally a year later. Here comes our secret sauce to affordable PC gaming, and that is the Intel Arc B580 GPU. Look, the thing is, this card will yield you around $350, which is one of the most affordable performance to price ratios you'll find. It's comparable to an RTX 4060. However, you can find variants that are in the sub $300 pricing as well for some further savings. It offers 12 gigabytes of VRAM, and since this card has been out for a hot minute now, driver support has had plenty of time to simmer up and get good. You'll also find that this card can actually game very well at the 1440p resolution. We'll talk about all of that in the benchmarks that I'll do towards the second half of this video, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Keeping in mind that the 250K Plus and 270K Plus are high performance processors, cooling is something that needs to be at the top of your mind, which is exactly why I opted to go for the Corsair Nautilus 360 ARGB liquid cooler. It's AIO obviously. On top of that, this dude sits at a price of $100 US, making it very affordable. You get top tier reliability, and while it's not the fanciest looking cooler out there, I really love its minimalist RGB aesthetics that just bring a whole lot of life to your desktop. For some additional cooling and aesthetics, I also invested in the Jungle Leopard 3-piece ARGB Infinity Mirror cooling fans. These things perfectly sync with the rest of the motherboard, and they only set me back about $20, which is an absolute steal for Infinity Mirror fans. Our PSU of choice, the KN850 by PC Cooler. This thing is modular, it's got ATX 3.1, and it's got a 80 plus gold certification, and it only goes for about $80 on Amazon. Here's the thing, guys, a lot of people have this perception that they have to go and get a really powerful PSU that's 1000 watts or higher just so, you know, they future proof it, but rarely will you find a situation where you're going to be spending more power than 850 watts. In fact, the truth is that unless you're going for a top tier RTX 5080 or 5090 or you're overclocking like crazy, 850 watt is abundant for like 80% of builds out there, so save yourself the money. For the case, we're using the Antec C5 curved ARGB one, and look, I like this for a number of reasons. You've got this beautiful curved glass finishing over here that allows you to really showcase your whole desktop. It also comes pre-installed with 4 ARGB fans, so that's a few less fans that you have to buy out of pocket, and the best part is this case costs just about $130, which honestly feels like it's cheaper than it should be, but I'm not complaining. Performance with these 200S Plus series chips is absolutely crazy. Intel really knocked that out of the park. I played a number of different games and the frame rates were crazy high at both full HD and quad HD resolutions. I also ran a number of different applications and they can definitely hold their weight. And the Intel Arc B580 also punches slightly above its weight class in my honest opinion. I'll talk about all of that in the technical elements, which we'll get to in just a second, but a couple of things to keep in mind. Before you actually start doing anything hardcore on these gaming rigs, it's very important you go to Intel's website and get their platform performance package. Is basically a one-stop installer that has a number of other subcomponents and softwares that further optimize the performance of the 250K Plus and 270K Plus processors to make sure you're able to squeeze every little bit out of them. After running a number of tests with Cinebench, we found that the 250K Plus and then swapping at the 270K Plus keep a subtle lead over the competition with impressive numbers. Overall, you can see that both the single core and multi-core scores are absolutely crushing it here, and the Arrow Lake refresh definitely lived up to the hype we were expecting. Geekbench scores indicate a healthy single core performance, but the real deal appears to be when you run the multi-core test, as the scores over here are absolutely demolishing it. We also ran the good old Blender CPU benchmark, and here you can see a prime example of these chips really shining. In fact, of all the tests, this one had the most dramatic results. While CPU performance is genuinely impressive, I also wanted to give you guys an honest idea of exactly what the Intel Arc B580 is all about. So to keep things as objective as possible, I limited my results to benchmark only testing, and here's what we found with the B580 across full HD and quad HD resolutions. Starting off at Cyberpunk 2077, we easily found that the 250K Plus, with everything maxed out at Ultra except for ray tracing, which is off, was able to hit an average FPS of 119. However, with the 270K Plus, that number goes slightly higher to 122 FPS on average. Again, these are some really nice numbers that if you're looking to game at 1440p, still totally viable. We found we hit an average FPS of 86 with the 250K Plus, while that number goes slightly higher to 88 with with the 270K Plus. Running the Shadow of the Tomb Raider benchmark, we found with the 250K Plus, we got an average of 113 frames per second with everything maxed out except for VSync being off. And then with the 270K Plus, again, a similar story with a higher rate of 125 frames per second. Now, if you are going to bump that up to a 1440p resolution, you can expect the average frame rate of 91 FPS with the 250K Plus and all the way up to 95 frames per second with the 270K Plus. Finally, we ran the Final Fantasy XIV Dawntrail benchmark, and with everything completely maxed out except for VSync, which was off, we got an average frame rate of 120 FPS with the 250K Plus, while the 270K Plus gave us a higher 130 frames per second. Now, if you are going to go to 1440p, you will find that the average frame drop hovers around 90 FPS with the 250K Plus, while the 270K Plus can give you all the way up to 92 frames per second on average. Keep in mind, guys, that the bottleneck here in terms of frame rates, of course, is the Intel Arc B580 GPU. However, I wanted to show you guys that even with a lower tier GPU like that, you can still get some fantastic performance at both full HD and quad HD resolutions, which makes gaming a very viable experience. And of course, the 200S Plus series chips over here really pull a lot of the heavyweight. And the best part is if you get the 250K Plus or the 270K Plus, and down the road, let's say you want to upgrade to a more powerful GPU, you don't have to worry about any bottleneck issues because these CPUs are top tier performers that will scale just as well with a high-end GPU as well as to do with the Intel Arc B580 over here. That's pretty much a wrap for this video, guys. Hopefully I was able to give you a realistic idea of exactly what this kind of a build will, get you in terms of performance and just why you don't necessarily have to spend top tier dollar to get some healthy gaming performance out of your PC rig. If you guys enjoyed the video, I'd really love it if you could like this video and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content like this. Also, a huge shout out to Intel again for sponsoring today's video. Thanks to them, I was able to show you guys exactly what the reality is right now. And if you want to learn more about their 200S Plus series processors, I will have links in the video description below.